2 today. And today we're going to be looking over our class diagram, which is basically going to represent the functionality of our program. And we're going to start off with our main app class, which is the place where every other class is going to refer to since it is collecting and storing data that is relevant to our interface. So let's start off with our player and team class, which are essentially going to be reading from that data file that is attached to our project. So within these classes, we are going to be collecting all this information about each player, which is going to be later compared in our application. Also, as you see within our team class, which is also going to be looking at that data file, we're going to be getting information that's similar to our player class, but it's going to have a little bit more detail specific to the teams. And that will also be compared later on. So, going back up to our main app class, we're going to see that there is a method that is going to be calling to initialize the layout. So within our root layout, we're going to go to our root layout controller, which is going to be the stage for our interface that our user is going to be working with. So that is important. And that will bring us to our next two classes, which are essentially going to be the bread and butter of our program, because this is the part where the user is going to be getting the most interaction with the data that we have collected. So that being said, our player overview controller is going to have the ability to handle the sorting and the comparison of different players to one another, and also the ability to handle switching players within those specific teams and comparing those players with other players in their team. Um, Also, something that is going to be handled within this class is going to be the ability to stop comparing. Um, that is going to be important because it's going to reset the table and basically make it accessible for another comparison by the user. So also handling the selected team, as I mentioned before, being able to select the team that you're going to compare the players within that team to one another, and also the ability to customize. So this will give a better visualization of how these players are being compared and the strengths and weaknesses of those players. Basically, that is going to be handled within it as well. The red and the green color, which is demonstrated on here, is going to be handled in this class, as well as in the team overview controller. So this is essentially going to do the same thing as our player overview controller. It's just going to have those details that I mentioned before, which are more specific to the teams when comparing the different teams to one another. So this is going to have the ability to handle the selection of teams and also the comparison of one another by the user, obviously. And this is going to have the ability to stop comparing and reset the information that is on the user interface side of this. And also similar to the player overview controller, it's going to also have the ability to handle the color changes on the table. So essentially, this is going to be the idea behind our program. It's not too complex. It's just a lot of data and stuff. So yeah, thank you for tuning in.